Hello, Hugin here. In today's episode we will look at Appendix 1, Model Rules, and how model rules has changed from the 2nd to the 3rd edition of the 9th Age. The model rules are now located in an appendix that contains a long list of model rules that can be applied to various models or units. We have expanded on a modular bracket system allowing for more specific application of model rules. For example, you can define rules to apply only when attacking a certain model using the keyword towards, for example hatred towards fly. Rules can be applied when being attacked by a specific type of attack using the keyword against, for example aegis against flaming attacks. Range modifiers can be added, for example ambush board edge. Normally that means deploying within 6 inches from the board edge, but if we add a distance, say 8 inch within the brackets, a unit could be deployed within 8 inch of the board edge instead. Attack attributes by default are only applied to melee attacks, but we can define in brackets that the rule is applied to shooting. For example, poison attacks, shooting. And now let's look at the actual model rules. There are far too many changes here to look at them all in this episode. Instead, we will look at some of the more impactful changes. So first, Captain. This is a new rule that is often used as an option for a character that can also be the battle standard bearer. Often this is combined with attached. Captains always counts as in range of the general's commanding presence, and the battle standard bearers rally around the flank. This option aims to provide a low-cost character option that can fill the modeling role that champions used to fill. Unbreakable and stubborn. To promote a more dynamic gameplay and reward players for taking risks and playing more aggressive, rules that make units hard to break have been scaled back. Steadfast is now harder to achieve. Stubborn now halves the combat score modifier to the break test. For example, a stubborn unit that loses by 7 takes a break test on -4. Unbreakable has been removed. Previously unbreakable units are now unstable and stubborn instead. This combination allows the unit to only lose HP equal to half the combat score difference. So losing a combat by 7 means losing 4 HP. Feigned flight. Previously, a unit with this rule that fled from a charge and later rallied could move normally. This could in some cases be quite abusive. Now, they instead automatically pass the subsequent rally test after voluntary fleeing, but they cannot move normally instantly. Units with feigned flight can now also choose to flee from a combat that they have won. Frenzy. Frenzied units must always pursue. They are no longer forced to charge. We have several rules associated with command. Musician gives a +1 modifier to command tests, meaning they are passed on 3+ instead of 4+. Disciplined, command tests are maximized. Unruly gives a -1 modifier to the command test. And mindless. Mindless units automatically pass restraint tests and combat reform tests, but they cannot pass tests to redirect charges. Let's look at melee weapons. Here there are changes only to 2 weapons. Lance, which now grants +1 agility when charging, and Spear. Spears always give +1 agility, and they no longer provide +1 AP, but instead they provide lethal strike against swift stride, unless the spear wielder is charging. For shooting weapons we have 2 changes. Bow and longbow. These weapons always shoot in an extra rank, and they ignore friendly units for line of sight and cover, but they do not ignore enemy units. And breath attack. Breath attacks function as the old shooting version of the old breath attack. They can no longer be used in combat at all, and they are no longer one use only. Artillery. This is a rule that's associated with most war machine mounted weapons, such as cannons, catapults, flamethrowers, and so on. An attack with this attack attribute ignores cover and long range to hit modifiers. Instead, it gains -1 to hit when targeting a unit with 0 proper ranks, such as light troops. and it gets +1 to hit when targeting a unit with enough proper ranks to be steadfast, or when targeting units with height 5. Related to this, we also have direct hit. An attack with this rule doubles the strength and AP and applies multiple wounds X to one hit. Elven Finesse. This rule replaces lightning reflexes. The model suffers only -1 agility when using a great weapon. There are no longer a category of model rules for special attacks such as stomp attacks, impact hits, and so on. These are now just attack attributes. This means that other attack attributes, such as lethal strike or multiple wounds, do affect stomp attacks, impact hits, grind attacks, and so on. And that covers the major changes to model rules. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for more updates.